Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you all? Is everyone fine? The family? Everyone is fine? We thank God. We are back again. In this video, I'll be talking about my challenges when it comes to expressing myself. Expressing my thoughts and my ideas in a simple way. Or expressing my thoughts and ideas easily more than the average person. Okay, so let's start. Why am I doing this video, you may ask? I've said a couple of times that I want my channel to be as relatable as possible. Being able to express myself easily has always been a challenge I've had since childhood, for as long as I can remember. It's really difficult when I want to explain something. Maybe I have a thought in mind or an idea, but then I'm not fully able to explain myself. Or even in situations where I have to defend my own self, but I can't properly articulate it. It has been one of the biggest insecurities I've had growing up, even up till now. It is getting better at the moment, but it's still there. I still struggle to express myself, to explain exactly what I mean when it comes to certain things and all of that. Just like I did and all of that, because I'm finding it difficult getting a better word instead of and all of that. Yeah, because of this insecurity, one of the things I admire most in people is when they are able to speak eloquently. I really admire eloquent people. It just fascinates me how they are able to freely express themselves. They're able to explain exactly what they mean without being confused or without leaving any detail out, and are able to communicate whatever they mean very well. I always sort of strive to be able to explain myself as much as they do. Yeah, this video is all over the place, but I'll get through it. Before I continue, I know that some of you are noticing that my speech is very some way. I got a cold, I got catarrh, and my nose is blocked, so I'm speaking in my head, so pardon me. Okay. Due to my inability to really express myself well, one of the things I really dislike is group discussions, where you have to bring out your point, explain your point. They bring out a topic and then you have to give your opinion on it and, say something about it. When I know the topic to be discussed, or when I have prior knowledge of whatever is supposed to be discussed, I get the chance to do my research, put together how I understand whichever topic it is, or plan exactly what I'll say. But when I am caught in the moment, I find it difficult even saying something about it. Do not get me wrong. When I say that, I find it difficult expressing. What it means is that, one, I get whatever is being said. I am listening to it. I understand it. It makes sense to me. But when it comes to me having to contribute to the topic at hand, I find it really difficult. When I have no prior knowledge of it, it's really difficult for me. Really, this may come as a surprise to some of you, because personally I am a very outspoken person. I will not hesitate to express my opinion about something that I am especially convinced that is right or wrong. I am a very outspoken person, and so me sitting here telling you right now that I have issues with expressing myself may be a surprise to most of you. But yeah, that is a challenge that I have, and I know it's not just me. Let me give you some instances. When we're in school, you realize that there were some people in class that never spoke. They will never contribute or even ask questions in class. It's two things. It's either they are shy, or two, that they don't really know how to express themselves or how to communicate how they understand whatever is being taught. Also in churches, like that, same. Bible discussions, some people will just be quiet, have nothing to say, because they find it difficult articulating whatever they have. Same for workplaces, during meetings. I know the things I've observed about myself and I needed some explanation, so I decided to do a little research, and then I came across some interesting things. I'll go through the research I did with you guys. So before I go through the research with you people, I want to state that I have not gone to see any medical doctor. This probably may not even be what I am experiencing, but I've observed myself and I know how I struggle with words. So I decided that why not? Even if it's not for me, or even if that's not what I'm going through, I know there are other people who have the same challenge. It needs to be educated when it comes to this thing. And also, I know that there are some people who actually make fun of people who struggle to express themselves or communicate very well and need to hear this and actually have a change of attitude when it comes to something like this. So this video is for people who struggle to express themselves and constantly keep asking why, and for people who do not understand why an individual cannot express themselves. It doesn't make sense to them that you have probably gone to school and your inability to express yourself means you are probably not smart enough. So this video is for such type of people. Let's start. So in my research, I came across what is known as language disorder. And I found out that there are two types of language disorders. We have the receptive language disorder, and then we have the expressive language disorder. This video will be focused on the expressive language disorder because per what I've observed about myself, I think I fall within that category. I want to believe there are levels when it comes to such disorder. Some people, in some cases, it would be mild, and in other cases, too, it would be far worse. As I mentioned earlier, I have not gone to see any doctor. No one has diagnosed me. I am just making this video, or I just did this research based on what I have observed about myself. So for the receptive language disorder, some of the things you notice about a person with such disorder is that such a person finds it difficult understanding jokes. They take everything literal and take offense in everything. They don't really get the humor in things. Again, a person like that finds it difficult focusing on what someone is saying, especially when there are background noises. They get easily distracted, and so they are not able to focus on the person in front of them talking. Another trait too is that people like that are usually not interested in most conversations, no matter who the person is. Also, when they are asked questions about a topic that was just taught or discussed, you find them not able to answer. They are not able to answer. Such traits are what people with receptive language disorder have or display. The second type of language disorder, which I'll be focusing in this video, is the expressive language disorder. When it comes to this, according to research, it is a brain-based condition that makes it difficult for a person to express himself or herself through writing or spoken word. Which means that for the expressive brain disorder, there are two types: difficulty in expressing yourself whilst writing, and difficulty in expressing yourself through speech. And that is what I have observed about myself. Researchers at the moment cannot pinpoint exactly what causes such disorder, but existing research indicates that genetics can also play a role in such a disorder. And so what this means is that this kind of disorder is developmental and may not even be diagnosed till adulthood. One thing too that I found out was that people with expressive language disorder does not necessarily mean they have low IQs. What it means is that they have average to high IQs, but they find it difficult expressing their thoughts and ideas. Their IQs are perfectly fine, like the average person who is able to express themselves, but their only challenge is expressing or communicating whichever information they have received. The expressive language disorder, when it comes to one's inability to express themselves through writing, is termed dysgraphia. Okay, sorry guys, I just realized that I'm being too dull in the video. I know I'm not well, but I can still do better. Okay, so I'm putting in more energy. So I gave examples of some of the traits of receptive language disorders. I'll be doing the same for the expressive language disorders. A person may be diagnosed with expressive language disorder in terms of speech when such a person takes too long to start a conversation, or when the person frequently uses short sentences or phrases, when the person has limited vocabulary compared to another person of the same age, when the person talks little but understands what is being said, when the person uses unspecific words like thing or stuff because they are not able to get the right words to fit in that phrase, when the person has trouble finding words to use, when the person finds it difficult using complex phrases. And so what happens is that they tend to repeat particular phrases or sentences over and over. When the person is always frustrated because of his or her inability to express exactly what he or she is thinking. When the person finds it difficult to narrate an experience in a way that makes sense to those listening. And also when the person finds it difficult answering a direct question from the superior which he or she has an answer to, but is just struggling to express him or herself. I did my research and I found out that one of the ways to help manage this kind of disorder is to see a speech pathologist. I want to believe there are people like that in Ghana. Right. Africa, one of our challenges is taking mental health really serious. And so this thing that I am even talking about, others may just see it as it's nothing. Really, it's nothing. What is this? It's nothing. There's no need for you to even make a video about it. But we fail to notice the toll it can actually take on the emotional and social health of individuals who go through something like this. Personally, I want to talk about some of the things I do to help me express myself much better. So the first thing I do all the time is, because I know it takes a while for me to really articulate how I understand something or want to communicate my thoughts, what I personally do is to always prepare before time. If thankfully I get to know the topic that will be discussed or whatever the conversation is, it helps me to prepare very well, put my thoughts together, know how to go about it, know how to express it, know how to get people to understand, know how to make sense when I am communicating it. So that's one thing I do. I always prepare before time, unless I don't know the meeting agenda, unless I don't know of it. If I know, I'll prepare. The next thing too that I do is to not be so hard on myself. I used to be so hard on myself, but I have come to realize that it is not everything that I should have something to say. It is okay to not have something to say sometimes. It is perfectly okay. I cannot be 100% perfect. That is my imperfection. It might not necessarily be same for the other person. The other person too has his or her own imperfection. This may be my imperfection, and it is perfectly okay. That is exactly what makes me human. And so I have learned to not be hard on myself when it comes to this. The next thing that I have learned to do is to build on my vocabs. We all know the importance of reading. I will not sit here and lie that I constantly read. No, I'm still struggling with it, but I am making conscious efforts to be reading, to make reading part and parcel of me. Reading helps you to adapt to your vocabulary and to be able to express yourself very well. And also, where I can't express an opinion or where I can't really contribute, I ask questions instead. This is my advice to parents. Please know your children. Please do not be too hard on a child you have that you have realized or observed that they are not able to express themselves well or they delay in speech. My advice is, please be patient when it comes to such children. Help them in any possible way you can, instead of dumping their spirits and making them sad or making them feel like their parents are disappointed in them because they can't explain something or because they delay in speech. So parents, I encourage all of you to be patient with your kids and help them in any way you can. To individuals who have encountered people like that or who work at various places with such people or are in the same classroom with such people or are in the same environment with such people, I have 3 advice for you. 1, be patient with them. 2, be empathetic. Put yourself in their shoes. Imagine how it will feel like when you have something you want to say but you struggle to say it. Imagine how it would be like when you have to defend yourself but you find it difficult getting the right words to defend yourself. My last advice to you is that be kind with your words. Be kind. I'll leave you with this quote. When given the choice to choose between being right and being kind, choose kind. Please be kind with your words.